Hi, today I'm talking with my friend Yara Demo. She is a triple board certified physician in neurology, clinical neurophysiology, and epilepsy. And not only is she actively practicing in her specialty, she is also a certified life coach. So, Yara, welcome.
Hi, thanks, Erica. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, I'm stoked. I mean, we met through a physician women's conference. I love what you're all about. So, can you tell us a little bit more about your coaching style and your program?
Yeah, so I am certified as a life coach through the life coach school, but I'm also certified as a leadership coach through Northwestern University. So it's a leadership and organizational change coaching certificate. And what I do is I combine my passion for life coaching and leadership coaching to help women physicians in terms of having how to be leaders at work, have the culture impact that they want to have the organizational change they want to have at work, but then how can they still have the life they want at home in terms of the relationships they want at home? Basically, how can they have their cake and eat it too without feeling burnout and without feeling tired or resentful or just exhausted all the time?
Yeah, and that makes so much sense to have both of those integrated because I feel like that affects all of us. Female physicians, in particular, I understand are your target audience and who you really love working with. Tell me more about the life coaching that you focus on. I know you said you really want to build on a healthy marriage without losing your work momentum. So, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, I realized that so my husband and I have been together now married for about almost 15 years. And before life coaching, I feel like he's a physician, I'm a physician. It was either we were like so immersed in our work and we didn't really pay attention to our relationship. Or if I was like, okay, you know what, I'm burnout, I'm going to focus on the relationship, then I was not doing the things I wanted to do at work. And for me, they don't have to be mutually exclusive. I think you can find a balance where you're saying yes to things you want to do at work, but you have the power to say no to things that you don't want to do at work. And you can still be very intentional about your relationship, carving time for your spouse, carving time for your children, guilt free. Because I used to like feel guilty when I spent time with my family. And now I'm like, no, I plan that time intentionally, but I also plan what I say yes to at work very intentionally. So I don't say yes unless I something I'm passionate about and something that I know is in line with my career vision. So I think sometimes we see them as mutually exclusive, or if it's like if I'm going to be a rock star at work, then my family will suffer, or it's the other way around, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Wow. Well, and passion and intent. You were saying both of those so much, and I was just listening. I love getting to know you. I mean, meeting at a physician women's empowerment conference and discussing coaching really opened my eyes to what you can do, Yara, and the beautiful work that you're doing. I heard a lot of people ask, though, what is coaching? Like, how is that different? And how is that the plan that I should choose for me? So, what do you tell a prospective client when they ask you that question?
Yeah, so I usually talk about a coaching as like a mirror holder, like somebody who's holding a mirror to you and is helping you reflect on your thoughts, reflecting on what goals you want in your life. Like most of us go through life, we go through day by day, but we don't have a clear vision for how we want our life to be. So it's somebody who basically helps you figure out your goals, figure out your priorities, figure out how you want to approach situations. Who do you want to be? How do you want to act? Do you want to be the mom that yells at your kids all the time? And if that's who you want to be, that's fine. But if that's not who you want to be, then like how can we change that in a way that feels true and authentic, and that a way that stems from changing your core beliefs rather than just changing actions. I think a lot of us try to change our actions without changing our like beliefs and thoughts. And it becomes really hard to do that. But the coach helps you figure out why you're doing the things you're doing and what thoughts are driving them. And then once you do that, you can actually change your action. So one of my favorite things that I do with my clients is something called mental model reframes, where I have them go through a worksheet of different mental models that they have, things that we all like women physicians have, like I have to get it right, or giving up is not an option, or I'm the only one who can do this job, or things like that. And then we go over how are these mental models serving you in your life right now? How are they not serving you? And then how can we reframe them in a way to keep the upside, but minimize the downside?
Wow.
The long answer to your question.
No, I loved it because you're explaining what coaching is and how it matters, and really being that reflection or that mirror to show your clients what they're capable of because they finally have someone that's believing in them so they can now believe in themselves. So I love that. It was a perfect answer. I'm really interested to hear more about your training that you're doing with Northwestern. I understand that you're an academic neurologist, but you're also an assistant professor. So clearly you're involved in teaching and education, and I love that. So tell me how you're integrating that with your leadership course and what you plan to do with your coaching moving forward.
Yeah, so my leadership coach is a separate certificate that I'm doing. So it's like nights and weekends, lots of fun. But I am also now in a program called Scholars of Wellness for my hospital, where they train us to become Scholars of Wellness. And what I'm putting together is a coaching program for actually physician moms at my organization to try and bridge that gap. I also sit in the wellness committee for our division and I'm sorry, for our department and for the residency program. So I'm trying to like spread the word about coaching and how it's truly like mind blowing when you're intentional about how you think. Like just last week, I was on service and I have a resident come up to me, very apologetic that he might have missed the diagnosis. And I was like, you saw the patient at 4 a.m. It's one of the differential we have. I don't even know that's what she has. And I don't expect you to know everything. So why are you like beating? He's like, I got up in the middle of the night and I couldn't fall back asleep because I felt bad that I
No.
missed. And I'm like, no, I mean, I want to, yes, we as physicians we should be very diligent, but at the same time, we should also cut ourselves some, grace and have compassion for ourselves and that it's okay if we miss something. It's not that, like, not miss something, like he literally didn't even miss anything. But it's just like that, low self-valuation that physicians have is something I'm really working on to just like realize that like our action is not who we are. And just that separation is very important.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like the change of mindset is really the goal here, right? So to give you the tools to access that and then look at the future with a positive outlook. So if someone's interested, they can go to your website, right? So yarademomd.com and sign up with you there for coaching. But I understand you have a secondary business as well where someone can reach out to you for immediate help with any questions they might have. Can you tell us more about that program, please?
Yeah, so that's coachmestat.com. And that was born out of my own need for immediate coaching. So I have a regular coach I meet with all the time, and it's always like scheduled on a certain day of the week. And I remember I had a day that I was covering all this, like 3 of our 4 services. I felt victimized. I played the victim mentality for a while. I was like, that's not fair. And I called my best friend, who's also an epileptologist, and she was like, this is so unfair. And she just like made me more angry. And then I was like, I don't need a friend. I need a coach like who helps me reframe because this is my reality right now. So I talked to a coach and within 10 minutes, I was like, I got this, that this day is going to fly by, it's going to be the best day ever. And it did. And it kind of made me
Wow.
realize like sometimes when we're really angry, even if we're really good at self-coaching, we need like an outsider to help us like diffuse that anger and like reframe our thoughts that are causing these resentful anger feelings. And we can plan for these things, right? Like clinics go bad, meetings don't go as planned. Like, we have unpredicted patient outcomes. We just have things that come up every day that are unplanned. And that's how Coach Me Stat was born. So it's not like a long-term relationship. It's basically, I've just had something go wrong. I had a fight with my husband. I had a fight with my boss, and I need to talk to a coach for 20 minutes right now. And we have about 15 certified women physicians who are certified as life coaches that work with us. They would go in, you'll have a different availability, and it's usually within like the next few hours. And then you can speak to a coach.
Wow. So do you have to sign up in advance and then go back to the website anytime you have a question, or can it just be at the drop of a hat? If you need somebody, you go to your website and you're ready.
Yep, we're trying to make it as accessible as possible. So there's no membership, there is no like, you can just, anytime you need like immediate coaching, you go to the website, then you book an appointment.
I've never heard of something like that. Like, I love that. That is incredibly ingenious and super helpful. So thank you so much, Dr. Yara Demo, for talking with me today. I love you. I've loved growing with you and seeing all the wonderful things you're doing. And anybody who's interested, please check out her 2 websites. I'm going to throw them up on my site with more information. Yara, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure chatting with you.
Same.